Hey, Codem, this is Brad Bowling. I'm back with Char Curry, my relationship expert. And today we're talking about how women fumble good men. In the July issue of Codem magazine, we have an article in there, and this podcast accompanies that article. So, Char, how you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you, Brad?
I'm doing good. Thank you for joining me today. And, our last podcast exploded. So, we had to get you back on. I would like to say it was me, Char, that had the audience rocking, but I
It
think it
was
was you.
you.
No, I think it was you. I think it was you. Yeah. So I was like, I can't do this by myself. I got to call my good friend. We got to get her back on because today we're talking about, Char, the thing that baffles me. Okay, and I'm just gonna be honest with you, is that women want relationships, but then they make bad decisions on who they date, right? So I keep seeing, hey, the nice guy is boring, the nice guy is predictable, the nice guy is so good to me. I need a little mean, tell me off, tell me to shut up, cheat on me a little bit. What is going on?
You know what? And let me just say this. It's not about the fact that they're making bad decisions. What happens is a lot of times, let me just say this. And I've said this for over 15 years. You don't know how someone's going to treat you until they treat you that way. So someone can come into it and they'll be like, "Okay, we're in alignment, we're in congruency, we're equally yoked, we're great, the dynamic is amazing." And then all of a sudden the switch up happens. Okay.
Okay.
So a lot of times people think they're getting into one situation. You heard the Jekyll and Hyde behavior comes out.
Uh-huh.
A lot of times the person comes in as one way, and then 4, 5, 6 months down the line, there's a whole switch up. And what happens is people can't fake it. People can't continue to fake it. At some point, the real them is gonna come out. That mask is gonna come off.
Right, right. I get that, and I understand that. And the one thing, one of my biggest pet peeves is when people don't keep their word. When
Yes.
people do not do what they say they're going to do, it drives me crazy. It is a red flag all day long, right?
Yeah.
But what I'm talking about right now is I'm talking about when you say, I want a relationship, I want love, but I don't want it from the right person. I'm so confused as to why women sit there and say that they want love, they want loyalty, they want respect, but the good guy who's providing it, they don't like.
A lot of these women that are going through stuff like this, Brad, they don't know themselves. They don't know what their purpose is. They don't know what their end goal is. They don't know what they like, what they dislike. A lot of times it's based on that, but also integrity. A lot of the women right now are operating out of wanting to get in your wallet, wanting to spend your money, and wanting you to cater to them. But in reality, it's the fact that they want to use men. They want to use men for their finances, for their status, for their to elevate them, to make them look good. But a lot of women aren't in it for the committed connection because they have how many different fives, especially if she's attractive or she's good looking or she really has something going for herself. She's got 5, 6, 7. She's got a plethora or a pool of men that she's pulling from. So in reality, the integrity is not there, but also it's the fact that she is trying to keep certain ones on the back burner.
Listen,
Back burner culture, Brad.
I'm listening to you, right? And I hate to say this, but my algorithm agrees with you, right? Because in preparing for this, you look up, unfortunately, when you click on one reel, it sends you more of the same stuff, right? So for the last couple of weeks, I've been getting reels where, just unspeakable acts of behavior from women and how they treat men and then men's stories. And so I'm not saying I don't believe you, but there has to be a segment of society that wants love,
Yes.
wants it from the right person.
Yeah. Yeah. I
So
made
are
a
you
post
telling
early.
me everybody's like that, or are there still people?
I made a post earlier, Brad, and it was something short and simple. But I said, you know what? The good men and the good women, we just all need our own island because
Okay.
so many times people are liars, deceivers, betrayers, and manipulators. And what happens is it messes up the pool. I know you've heard this term, but they say the dating pool is pissed in.
Yes, it's toilet water, right? Yeah, right.
So it's like you can want that, but if you don't know who you are, you don't know where you're going, then a lot of times you're not going to attract the right person that is going to be in congruency with what you want. And what happens is a lot of times women will say that, but on the flip side of that, they have all these different entities in their ear. They got the reality TV, they got the screwed up music that they listen to, but also they have the older people in their family or sisters, cousins, friends, and they're like, "Oh no, girl, you need to do this. You need to, oh, he got this. You need to use him for this." So a lot of times the women don't have proper structure and people around them that are going to call them out on their stuff, but also lead them into the right direction. And I'm not saying that somebody has to, that you have to run everything by somebody, right? But a lot of times they don't have the wisdom in their life. They haven't learned how to be a good woman. They haven't learned how to treat a good man. So in
Can
reality, they're looking at it from a standpoint of the societal view instead of operating in integrity and having good morals and manners and standards when it comes to the man.
okay, so listen, I'm speaking for all men right now, okay?
Okay, okay,
I'm
okay.
just I'm just gonna speak for all men. I am confused as to how a woman, and I'm just gonna talk about my sisters for a second, can be educated, 2, 3 degrees, VP of this, director of that, head of this. You got all of that going on, but you suck at finding a relationship. Please explain to me how that is possible.
Because what happens is a lot of those women, the boss bees, as they
Babe.
call
Right,
themselves, right?
right.
What happens is they will put their career and or their societal status over everything else. So as much as she's educated, she's not emotionally and psychologically in tune. She's not emotionally and psychologically there and present to where she can separate and differentiate herself. She has made her career who she is. So she can sit up here and she can have the degree, she can have the plaque, she can have all of that, but in reality, you're a shady person. You don't have loyalty, you don't have integrity. You think that you're supposed to use people. You think that people are supposed to hang on your every word. You're controlling, you're jealous, you're envious. A lot of women, they can be up here when it comes to education and status, but they're down here when it comes to emotional intelligence. They're down here when it comes to being there for a good man. They're down here when it comes to believing in him and encouraging him and actually making sure that they keep that office life and the boss babe life separate from their personal life.
Wow. Wow. I want to remind everybody who I'm talking to, Char. So I know you have a huge following online. You've been doing this for about 8 years. You also do couples therapy. So I know that your number, and we will put the link to your bio in the body of the podcast. So if somebody wants to reach out to you, you are for hire.
Yes.
And you do help people. On our last podcast, you told us about a couple that you were able to help who went through something traumatic. And so I just want to make sure that I mention that, because if you're out there, you're single or in a relationship, or just need guidance, you are the person to speak with, correct?
Appreciate you. Yes, absolutely.
Good, good, good. Okay, so here's the thing. I have a lot of single friends, uh, incredible people. They're
Yeah.
good. They're
Hmm.
God fearing. They're attractive. They're in the right circles. They eat right. They're meal prepping. They're working out.
Hmm.
Single, and I'm like, what is going on? The pool of dating, it can't be that bad, is it?
You know what? It's it boils down to perception. Okay, so this is layered as well. It boils down to perception. It boils down to your geographical location. It boils down to your personality. It boils down to the way you grew up, the way you see things, whether you have a positive mindset, negative mindset. There are so many different layers to this, right? And I noticed that a lot of people, they are shying away from relationships. A lot of people are moving towards the hookup culture because they've tried to date, they've tried to do long term, they've tried to get engaged, and what happens is they get plotted on, they get used, they get misused, they get abused, and they're tired. A lot of people who are single now, Brad, who are the good women and the good men, they are freaking tired because
Wow.
they've tried and tried and tried. They've tried different people, they've tried different ways, they tried dating sites, they tried long distance, they've tried people, blind dates, and what happens is they feel like they're getting the bad end of the stick. So a lot of people are tired and they have given up because they're exhausted from trying to make something work with somebody who didn't want to make it work with them or who wasn't in congruency and in alignment with them. And it is exhausting to them. So they're frustrated and they're fed up.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm gonna tell you the one thing, and you tell me if you agree or disagree. But I think, we're no longer patient enough to give people an opportunity to rise to the occasion. I think sometimes in a dating pool, you're waiting for them to fail. And so all of your decisions are based on waiting for that instead of waiting for them to rise. And I feel like sometimes people who are single don't want to go through the process to see if they can not make the person the right person, but see if
Yeah,
this person is the right person.
yeah, yeah.
And Char, I'm gonna tell you another thing is if you take a lot of people's idiosyncrasies,
Hmm.
we got stuff going on that people can't tolerate. Poor
Yeah.
behavior,
Yes.
poor decision making, bad
Yes.
credit,
Yes.
uh, uh, you know, poor attitude. Your circle's horrible.
Yes.
So it's like you need to become dateable if you want to find a good person,
That's right.
right?
That's right. That's right.
So for a man, let's talk about it. If a man is looking for a woman,
Hmm.
and we're seeing women fumble good men because they say women are divorcing at 80%. 80% of the people who's filed for divorce are women. What is a man supposed to do if he finds somebody he wants to date and she's fumbling him, right?
Okay. So if she's fumbling you, it just depends on what, everybody's definition is going to be different, right? But I will say this: make sure you get to know her. Make sure you get to know her. Ask questions. There's nothing wrong with asking questions. There's nothing wrong with asking the hard questions. Make sure that you're vetting the person. You can be head over heels and all googly eyed and everything, but make sure you're asking the questions that need to be asked. But also pay attention. And I'm not saying like, oh, because you've seen, I think this is a pink flag. I think like, I'm not saying to hold them in contempt of every single thing because we're also human, right? But I'm saying make sure that you're paying attention. Pay attention to how she operates with herself. Pay attention to how she operates with her family. Pay attention to how she operates with business partners. This is the thing. You are going to see you're going to observe more than what she tells you. You're going to get more out of observing when you see her actions more than what she tells you.
You're
Because
saying watch what they do, not what they say.
that's right. That will watch both, but I'm telling you, watch their actions because what happens is you're going to see things, right? And so you have to base it off of that because actions speak louder than words.
They
She can
do.
say she can talk a good game, she can say whatever she wants to say, but when you see her treating other people good, when you see her extending herself to business partners in a morale type of way, and like how does she operate with everybody else in her life, not only just you. How does she operate with everybody else? And be mindful of when you go around their circle, like what the dynamic is around their circle, how those people operate. Because what happens is a lot of women, a lot of women have yes men and yes women around them. And so what
So
happens is nobody calls them out on their crap and they just continue the same destructive behavior and they treat people like crap.
and I'm gonna say this, I don't know for sure, but it seems like I'm 55. But it seems like my parents' generation, I don't know if they had less obstacles in dating. I don't know if they were more willing to date, but it just seems like today everybody has some kind of trauma that they need to get over, whether it was a past relationship, whether it was how they grew up, whether it was how they were treated in school, whether their own fears and anxiety. But it just seems like today, and I don't want to offend women, but it just seems like today men have to freaking fish through delusion, lack
Yeah.
of accountability,
Yes.
poor decision making, kids that's not his. It seems like you got to fish through a whole lot of stuff to find the goodness in women, and it's taxing sometimes. Sharp.
Yeah, and you know what it is, and I want to say this. I want to talk about that because there's two parts that I want to speak to when you talk about this. So
Okay.
there's the dynamic of the fact that times are not the same. We have so much in front of us every single day, all day, whether you're a man, whether you're a woman. You're seeing half naked people. You're seeing people that are appealing to the eye. You're clicking, you're scrolling, you're clicking, you're scrolling. People are DMing you. They're like people, a lot of times nowadays, because of the way society is set up and because everything is clickable and now, people do not value the person that is in front of them because they always have something in front of them. Okay.
Woo. Okay.
One thing.
All
And
right.
then when it comes to accountability, I was thinking the other day, and I started to and I went back to when I really started to take accountability for myself. And what I noticed and what I came to terms with is the fact that when I started to take drastic accountability for myself, I'm talking about reaching out to people that I have wronged, reaching out to people and apologizing and fixing relationships and things of that nature. I realized that was a time when I was getting my own spirituality intact. Accountability is a spiritual thing, Brad.
Wow.
And let me say this, accountability is a spiritual thing because when you hold yourself, when you are in congruency spiritually and you really are wanting to walk in uprightness and integrity and hold up your good character, then what happens is you want to do the right thing. And when you want to do the right thing, you're going to want to apologize when you're wrong. You're going to want to take accountability for stuff that you did or that you said that was wrong. But I'm telling you, if I had not ventured off into this deep spirituality type of deal myself, I probably would have never started to take accountability for myself. So a lot of times women are not in touch with themselves and in congruency spiritually. Therefore, they can't take accountability for themselves and learn how to apologize because they don't know who they are yet.
So, okay, let's go deeper, please. Spirituality, you're saying that they need to be in touch with the religious side of them and go to church, get in touch with God to become accountable? Because I'm telling you right now, 90% of the men are going to say, my girl has a problem with accountability. So is that what you're saying?
And I'm more spiritual than I am religious. I'm ordained and everything, but that's just, yeah, that's a fun fact about me. But what I'm saying is when you tap in spiritually, I feel like people that tap in spiritually are first and foremost like you're gonna have a certain amount of integrity and good character because you
Okay.
want to walk in uprightness, right? Now, some
Yes.
people call it righteousness. I call it integrity. You know what I mean? Having morals and standards and manners and everything, right? Holding value to who you are as a person. Okay. So what happens is these type of people, 9 times out of 10, they're going to take accountability. I'm not talking about running to the church house every 5 minutes every Sunday, and then you go into the church house and you sit up here praising and worshiping, and then you come home and you treat your husband and your family and your kids like crap. I know all kinds of people that can sit in the pew, but then they come home and they treat their families like crap. So I'm talking about just having an internal compass of integrity. That's basically all I'm saying. When I talk about it's having an internal compass of integrity and truthfulness and transparency. You can't tell me that you're an integrous person and that you're holding yourself accountable when you're sitting up here lying.
Right.
No,
Right.
you don't get to be a liar and say, "Oh, I have integrity." No. So when I say that, it's a matter of, does she have enough self-awareness to take accountability for herself and call her own self out on her crap? Because
Wow.
9 times out of 10, she doesn't know who she is spiritually. She doesn't have people around her that are calling her out, and therefore the accountability factor, she's still in, when that's not intact, she's still in survival or victim mode.
Victim mode.
And
Wow.
when she's a victim, she's always going to see you as the problem or see someone. A lot of these women, they don't only have problems in their relationships, they have problems in their business, in their careers, in the office. They have problems with everybody because they always want to play the victim. They always want to point the finger. Somebody else is always to blame because it can't be her because she's perfect. She's in denial that she needs to fix anything.
Wow. Wow.
Integrity matters.
I want to go back to something you said when you said people don't appreciate the person that's right in front of them. I saw this reel the other day, and this guy was talking, and he said, a lot of times women will leave the man that they were supposed to be with and then spend the rest of their lives trying to replace him or look for him again. So they had the guy that they should have been with. They either didn't see his value or maybe he was the good guy, right? Because the good guy equates to boring. So she thought he was boring and too good to her. So she let him go for the bad boy. And then she ends up spending the rest of her life looking for and trying to find, or excuse me, trying to get the next guy to measure up to the guy she gave up.
You know
What
why?
is that about?
You know why?
No,
Because
please.
what happens is that type of person is operating out of a lens of trauma in most cases. So that they have things that happen to them from childhood in adolescent years, or even from or either from a previous partner. And what happens is they will sit up there and they will be looking at the good man right in front of them out of a lens of trauma, and they cannot accept the good man that he is because they're used to chaos, they're used to trauma, they're used to drama. If it doesn't look or feel like something that they went through, 9 times out of 10 they're going to see it as foreign. Their body is going to reject it, their system is going to reject it, their spirit is going to reject it because it's foreign to them.
Okay, I hear you. But as a mature adult, aren't you supposed to, as Dr. Phil says, rise above your raising? At some point, you have to rise above how you were raised and
You do.
either go get therapy, go get counseling, mature, grow up.
Yes. A victim always wants to play the victim. A victim always wants to cater to that victim side of themselves. That because then they don't have to take responsibility for themselves. A lot of people are scared to do the work. And you know why? They are scared to feel the pain. You have to allow yourself to feel that pain. If you went through something, I call it feel, deal, heal. You let yourself feel it so you can deal with it, so you can heal from it.
Whoa,
And
whoa,
a lot
stop,
of times
stop, whoa, whoa.
people
Wait,
are
say that one
afraid
more
of
time.
the pain. They're a feel, deal, heal. You let yourself feel the pain so you can deal with it, so you can heal from it. And a lot of times people are afraid of pain. They're afraid, and they don't understand that on the other side of that, you're going to be so much better. But people are operating out of this space and place of being a victim, but also not wanting to feel that pain. And if we're going to mature, if we're going to go to the next level, then we have to allow ourselves to feel the stuff that we've been through, or else it's going to keep on circling. It's going to keep on recycling itself in your life, and you're going to keep on getting rid of people, of good people in your life, whether that's a partner, whether that's family, friends. You're going to keep on experiencing that because you have not worked on yourself.
Is there any level of forgiveness? Because I'm listening to you, and I wonder if forgiving past people or atrocities against you, is forgiveness play a role in
I'm I'm
finding?
I'm so glad you said that. Yes, absolutely. And even in one of my first books that I wrote, that's actually something that there's a whole chapter in there. There's two chapters about forgiving, because what happens is if you have gone through certain things and you are still holding on to it, then you're not going to be able to see the good things in life 9 times out of 10 because you have a lens of negativity instead of positivity. So what happens is a lot of people, they stay in this mindset of negativity, and those are the thoughts that they cater to, and those are the things that happen in their life. When you I say this, when you change your mindset and way of thinking, then you change your life. So a lot of times people will have a negative outlook on relationships and a negative outlook on goodness coming into their life because of something that they've gone through, but it's because of the unforgiveness that they carry. Yes, I know that your parents did X, Y, and Z. Yes, I know that past mates may have been X, Y, and Z. But in order for you to move on in the positive mindset that you need to operate and be a proper citizen of society, you have to you have to forgive. And they think that, oh, it's letting them off the hook. No, it's actually so that way you can thrive again and live a better life yourself. So yes, absolutely. So if you're walking in unforgiveness towards your parents, 9 times out of 10 you're probably gonna be in a relationship that could be good for you, but you have all this resentment and this bitterness and all this anger and rage that has built up. So then what happens is, instead of you forgiving the person that actually did it and moving on, you take it out on the closest person to you. That
Wow.
is your spouse.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you do with people who feel like maybe they don't deserve the good guy, right? They've struggled in life, or maybe they struggled in relationships where they've had more losses than wins, and they feel like I don't deserve the good guy. So if I see him, if I'm around him, let me push him away or let me sabotage the relationship because hey, I don't deserve this dude anyway. Does that exist?
Yes, absolutely. And you know what I've noticed is that people have been verbally, emotionally, psychologically, or physically abused, they will have that mindset because they still carry the internal guilt and shame of maybe I could have did this better. Maybe I could have did this. In reality, that's the way they treated you. And what happens is you take on that load and that burden, and you see yourself like, oh, okay, well, this person treated me bad. This person treated me bad. Well, then I must not be worth it.
But how do you overcome that?
It's a mindset shift. It's a mindset change. You have to you have to start speaking life over yourself. You have to start changing your mindset about the way you have to change your view of yourself, because a lot of people walk around, they have negative viewpoints of themselves, and they have to when you change your mindset and change the way you view yourself and see yourself as valuable, then you'll see that you do deserve something great.
Okay, I'm listening to you talk and I'm hearing what you're saying. And if I hear you correctly, you can behave your way out of some of the roadblocks that you might create
That's right. You have to
to get
change your
a
way of thinking.
relationship you want. Um,
Yes.
is,
Yes.
is there anything physical you recommend? Working out, eating better, getting in shape?
Absolutely. I feel like when you feel your best physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, I feel like you like those type of things gravitate towards you, if you will. You know what I mean? And of course, eating right, and making sure you get your rest, and making sure, you know what I mean, that you're keeping your good character and everything, so your skin stays clear.
Right.
But yeah, it's definitely a matter of you working on being the best you that you can be, so that way you know that you're worth it and that you do deserve it. But a lot of times people psych themselves up in a negative manner, because that's the mindset that they're used to. But you have when you change your way of thinking, then you change your life. That's You have to change your mindset, change your way of thinking. You change your life for the better. And a lot of people, they find it challenging and difficult. But you're not by yourself. If you feel like you can't do it by yourself, then reach out to me. Reach out to somebody that can help you through it, because you're worth it. A lot of people have to understand that they're worth it, but some people that don't think they're worth it, they went through a lot of trauma and psychological stuff as a kid, or either from previous partners. So they have to regain their confidence. They got to get their confidence back up.
Okay, so Char, it's 2026.
Hmm.
What is your advice if there's a woman out there, she wants to date,
Hmm.
she's tired of dating,
Yeah,
right? But you and I are sitting here saying to her, go for it one more time.
yeah,
What do
yeah.
you tell her to do to forecast success?
Yeah. So what you do is, first and foremost, it boils down to yourself. How do you think about yourself? How do you view yourself? What great things, what great things do you have going on in your life? What goals do you have? And also, it's your outlook on love and in and of itself. Because if you're saying that all men are no good, then you're not going to look at men in a certain light, right? So start to think more positive about men. If you're following accounts that are speaking negative about men, unfollow those. If you're looking at shows that are speaking negatively about men, unfollow those, because subconsciously what happens is it gets into your psyche, and you start to think like the songs like that you're listening to, like the TV programs that you're looking at.
The
So I would
friend,
protect your eye and your ear gates. Protect your eye and your ear gates. Who are you hanging around? What kind of man is it that you want to attract? Because you're not going to find a high caliber man, or a certain man, sophisticated man, going to certain spaces. You're probably not going to find him at the hole in the wall. You know what I mean? You're probably not going to find him there. So go to conferences, go to seminars, go to networking, like uh, business
functions.
networking
Yeah,
things. That Yeah.
right.
So there are certain things you can put yourself in certain spaces, but also make sure that you're ready. Make sure that you're ready up here. Like, make sure you have the right mindset, and that your heart is in the right place. And what is it that you want out of this? What is it that you want out of this committed relationship? What is it that you want out of this marriage? You know what I
Wow,
mean?
wow,
So a lot of
wow,
times it boils down to, what it is that you want and what is it that you need, but write it down. Write it down and make it plain. Like, write it down exactly. And there is no list too long. There's nothing too specific. Write down what you want in your person.
wow, wow. Thank you so much. Let's talk about you for a second. Are you growing? I know your audience is growing by leaps and bounds. Are you
Yeah.
public speaking at all? Are you doing
Yes.
anything?
You know what? It's funny that you asked, because I'm actually restarting the Char Curry show. So that's coming back out again.
Okay.
So there will be a lot of relationship stuff, a lot of health, a lot of wellness, mental wellness stuff that'll be talked about on the show. We will have guests, we'll have layman guests, we'll have celebrity
We
guests.
need a YouTube channel, Charles. We need a
Yes,
YouTube.
yes, come on, let's do it. Let's do it.
Okay.
Let's talk about it. So yeah, I do have a couple things that are coming up. I'm still
Okay.
waiting on the set dates. But then I'm also looking to do stuff here locally. I live in Vegas. So I'm looking to put stuff together here locally so that way people
Okay.
can come in and like retreats and stuff like that. So there's a lot of stuff that's in the works. I have a couple of networks that are looking to collaborate. So
Awesome.
so
Awesome.
yeah, there's stuff coming up. And then I have already finished my fifth book, Brad. It's about separation anxiety. It's called Peace Over Panic. So that will be out within the next month or so.
Whoa, that sounds really good.
Thank
When
you.
is that coming out?
In the next month or so. So yeah, in the next month or so. Called
Okay.
Peace
You
Over
have
Panic.
to let me know. I would love to put that in the magazine and do a review on that because peace over panic. Wow.
Yes.
Wow. That
Yes.
sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So some
Okay.
of it is my own personal stuff, but then I interviewed other people. So there's my story at the beginning, and then there's other people's stories, and there's so much in there that's going to help so many people that have dealt with this or are dealing with it.
Wow. Well, listen, congratulations on your continued success. And I'm serious, man. So, the one thing that I get a little frustrated with is there are shows out there and, podcasts, and we always seem to talk about the negative side of relationships and what he's not doing, what she's not doing, what she won't wear, what he won't do. I don't see anybody talking about what we can do to kind of get us back on track.
Yeah.
I
You
don't
know
see
what?
anybody focusing on getting us back on track. Two, 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 two household income. It's incredible. When you find your person, that permanent plus one, life is incredible. Your best friend, right? Your ride or die, your supporter. It's incredible when you find that. And so I just wish everybody could experience that and have more opportunities to find that. So we got to work on this, girl.
Yeah, most definitely. And you know what? It's relationships are not hard. They're really not. It's a matter of regulating yourself and making sure that you can be the best you that you can be and showing up for your person. It's really not that hard, but you have to be selfless in order for it to work.
Yeah, yeah. Well, thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day. And guys, look for the article in our July issue. And with that, I'll give you back the rest of your day.
Thank you so much for having me, Brad. We'll talk soon.